Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hi guys, we're ready to do another fly tying tutorial. Right now what I'm going to do is a zebra midge and put some crystal flash on it. Okay, we're going to tie up a nymph that I've been playing with lately. It's just kind of a flashy mayfly-ish deal with some new materials we've been messing with. And so it's tied, the body's out of this vinyl rib. Vinyl rib, D rib is similar to it, but it's just a rib, or like a plastic that's half round. And you'll see how we work with that. But I've got, I think this is a size 14 and a 2.3 millimeter black bead in here, but feel free to really mess with the colors on this. You can do a whole bunch with it. I've got A-Dot UNI-Thread in Camel. It's their brown color. And that's the thread I like to use for nymphs a lot. For the tail, I'm just going to take several fibers of Coq de Leon rooster. Alright, so put our tails in about like that. You could make it thicker, you could make it thinner, you could make it out of pheasant tail, you could use yarn, you can use a bunch of different stuff. But I'm kind of on a Coq de Leon kick right now. Now one of the cool materials that we've been playing with lately is this speckled Flashabou. And they make it in gold, silver, and copper right now. And I'm trying to talk them into do it in different colors. But it's a really cool effect. So I'm going to take probably 4 or 5 fibers of this. And I've kind of moistened them a little bit so they stick together. And I'm going to tie those in right here at the head of this fly. And just wrap that back and let it hang. Okay, at this point I'm going to tie in the V-rib. Now, when you're messing with this stuff, the tie-in point is usually what gets you. Usually what creates the bulk. So there's a way to create a good tie-in point here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to catch that on fire and then just squeeze it flat like this. And then I can come in here with my scissors and cut that flat point to, or the flat part to a little bit of a point. Kind of like that. So that will allow me to tie this in at the very back of the hook with no problem at all. No bulk. So you see that? That's the trick to using this stuff. And I was watching, I can't remember who I was watching, but I learned that on YouTube. So whoever I was watching, their credit given. Appreciate you, partner. I need to look up who I was watching to get that technique. Anyway, I'm going to slightly taper the body. I mean, I think this one would fish kind of as a clinger style mayfly. And even though I'm not going to wrap it all the way to the bead, I like to taper it to the bead. Just so that I can tie it off real nice. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this this speckled Flashabou forward, but because I'm going to wrap the V-rib over the top of it, or the vinyl rib over the top of it, I really need to secure it down so that it doesn't slip when I wrap more stuff on it. And I learned that from trial and error. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of super glue. Try not to overdo it here. Okay. So I barely put any on. This is the really thin stuff. You could use like a brush on applicator. It'd be a lot easier, but we're at Curtis's house right now, and he doesn't believe in having nice things. So now I'm going to take those fibers and just start to wrap those forward. essentially making the underbody for the fly. And I'll get rid of those. I'll probably use those same ones as a wing case as well. Okay, so when I wrap this, you kind of have to be heavy-handed with it a little bit, and you need to make sure that you've tied in the flat part on the, so that when you start wrapping it, the round portion shows. So this is just moderately stretchy, so if I stretch it just a bit, when I start wrapping it up, and then release the tension, it will give me even more of that taper. So I'm going to release it about right here. And you can see how that little bit of mottled gold shows through on this. Okay, I'm way further up than I'm going to put in my wing case, but you can see that body is just really cool. You can do a lot of different stuff with this with the different sizes. This is size small, but if you got all three sizes, you could do everything up to stoneflies with it. Okay, so there's our body. Now I'm going to wrap back about to right here so that we can put our wing case in, maybe even a little bit further back. So I'm going to take those fibers, tie them in. You know what I'm going to do is cut them in half first, because I'm going to double those over. So I'm going to tie in, now I'm dealing with about 8 fibers of this speckled Flashabou. And you kind of judge where you want your wing case to be. I think that will be just right. Now what I'm going to do is just take some of this Hare'e Ice Dub. And you could take like a tan or a natural hare's ear color. And I'll use tan on this one. I'm going to dub it up fairly tight. I want this to be a pretty neat and tidy nymph. And this dubbing is natural hare's mask mixed with ice dub. So it kind of has the best of both of those worlds. Okay, so I have a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to put a little bit more right behind the bead and it should sink right in. There we go. So now, when I pull the wing case over, I'm going to kind of rotate it back and forth like this to flatten it out. So there's our wing case. And now I'm going to take 2 fibers per side, 2 or 3. I'll use 3. I like that. And I'm going to use those as the legs of the nymph. Okay, so I'll trim off the rest of these. Now I'll whip finish it. And I want these legs to just extend a little bit past the wing case. So just about like that. Now, just like we do on a lot of our stuff, I'm going to just add a little dollop of resin on the top to make it a little more durable, and I'll use this Fluorescing Fly Finish. There we go. So we'll cure that, and then we'll put one more coat on there. All right, and as you can see, I mean, there are lots of different options for this. I mean, you can make it buggy if you want. You can make it slender. You could do caddis pupa using the same techniques, but you know, the whole vinyl rib over the top of something gives it a really nice, cool mottled effect. And when it hits the water, it makes a really big difference. Enjoy tying it? Join us next time on Fly Tying with Uncle Cheech.